Making puffs. Every time it's the same old story. The opening and separating. The stuffing and stuffing. The blending and the scraping. The cutting and the bleeding. The crawling and the fainting. And the cleaning.
There must be another way.
Well, now there is with this new scones recipe. Watch the video to learn more.
Hey guys, welcome back to Dad Lifting. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Heinz, back with another video. This is my first ever collaboration video, a collab as the kids call it, I think. And it's with a new friend of mine named Alex. He has a channel called TheKeytoFatLoss. He's based in Romania, and he's got a fantastic personality. And English is not his first language, so bear with him. But I'm gonna hand the video over to him now. Take it away, Alex.
Hello, fans and subscribers of Deadlifting. Just kidding, man. This is my wife's hat, by the way. Hope she doesn't mind. I'm Alex from TheKeytoFatLoss, and here is a short story of how our collab came to be. How me and Heinz came up with the scones recipes we are sharing today. Heinz and I, aka Dad, aka Deadlifting, were just having a bit of small talk on Instagram's DM messages regarding Ethan Harrell's puffs. We both love them. We were talking about which one is our favorite, which one is our least favorite, but soon enough, something happened. Something made a spark. Heinz had this awesome idea that it would be great if we could make the puffs without blending bread and without using a blender. And immediately I was like, I could relate to this immediately, as I noticed the potential in this because there certainly are those of you who do not have the kitchen appliances we use in our anabolic recipes every time we make one. I was a student. I remember those times when I lived in a crappy ass apartment that had no kitchen appliances whatsoever, so I did not have any possibilities to make an anabolic recipe. And I am certain there are those of you who are in the same position. So that was a great idea. I immediately embraced it and started experimenting. After quite a bunch of failed experiments, as you can imagine, I finally came up with a recipe base. I sent it to Dad, not my dad, Heinz from Deadlifting, of course. And he immediately liked the idea. He made the puffs, but this time without needing to blend the bread. He loved the recipe, it turned out great, and so the breadless puff was born. We started developing the recipe and experimenting, sending the recipes back and forth to each other, trying out new things, until we finally came up with the recipes we're sharing today. We are so excited to share these with you guys and are so excited for you to try them out. We decided we shouldn't call them puffs because that's Ethan's thing, and this recipe needed its own identity. So we call them scones instead. So check out the ham and cheese scones on this channel, and then for dessert, come to my channel and check out some chocolate glazed coconut scones to keep the sweet cravings in check as well. Try them out, make the recipes, let us know how they turn out. Hit us up in the DMs on Instagram, we'll share your recipes, we'll share your thoughts. Hit us up in the comment section. These are super easy to make and they take no time at all. We are so hyped to be sharing our creation with you guys, and we are excited to see your response. I am happy to have met all of you guys, and I am happy to have met Heinz for Deadlifting. He's an awesome guy. So please remember to subscribe to his channel and show him some love. You always forget to subscribe to the channel, man. Smash that subscribe button, like, do it! Okay, I'm going back to my own channel now. I've lingered here long enough, so I'll see you guys in my lowest calorie kitchen. Peace!
For this recipe, you will need 70 grams of white flour, 25 grams of coconut flour, 3 grams of xanthan gum, 4 grams of baking powder, 2 grams of salt, 30 grams of fat-free mozzarella cheese, 30 grams of an unflavored whey protein, and 200 grams of egg whites. For toppings, you will need 2 slices of Velveeta cheese, 2 slices of breakfast ham or Canadian bacon, basically the same thing. Things you will not need:
low calorie bread, Ninja blender. Go ahead. You're free. Oh, come on, don't look at me like that. Go ahead. You're free. Go. Just go. Great news. I got full use of the kitchen tonight. Everyone else is already asleep. So we're not in the garage cooking. We've got a full counter. We've got everything at our disposal. The oven's over here. So today we're going to be making ham and cheese scones. It's a recipe that I developed in partnership with TheKeytoFatLoss, and I'll link his video in the description below. I hope you go check his out. He is much better at making recipes than I am, but I really like these things. They remind me a lot of the ham and cheese kolaches I used to have back in Texas. Kolache is like a donut type dough, but with meat inside of it, sometimes eggs, you know, sausage, hot dog meat, whatever. And it's really good. So I'm trying to recreate a little bit of that today, and we're calling it a scone. We're not calling these things puffs. They are a little bit different. You know, without all of the bread, you don't have as much fiber and you don't have as much volume. So my recipe that I'm gonna make today is gonna make 4 big puffs, big scones, sorry. Whereas, you know, the recipes for that Ethan Harold has for puffs, they make about 6. So there's a little bit more volume in his recipes, but there's also quite a bit of more effort. All of the ingredients for making the recipe are here in front of you. We're gonna mix all of those things together in this bowl. We won't need this anymore because we already measured out our ingredients, but I hope you used a food scale and I hope you have one. I'll show you how this all comes together. It's actually very, very easy. Here is our mixing bowl. We start adding in the dry ingredients first. There's the first flour. Second flour. There's the other stuff we talked about, baking powder, xanthan gum. Then you add in the protein, and we start to whisk it all together, the dry ingredients. So we whisk them together. In the meantime, you want to preheat your oven to 325 degrees. All right. And start to add in our wet ingredients. First, I'm going to add in the egg whites, 200 grams of egg whites. Right there. It's been snowing here for about 4 days, so we kind of ran out of the liquid egg whites that I pour from a carton, so I had to go with actually separating out the eggs. So that's another sort of small tribute to Ethan, who does that in all of his puffs recipes. All right, good. Add a couple of drops of butter extract. There you go. And then add in the cheese. And those are all of our wet ingredients. We just start mixing it with a fork. If we were out in the garage, I don't think I could go with the topless look. It's pretty cold out there. So I'm kind of glad that we're inside. Let's show off the guns. So when it starts to get really thick and really hard to move and the vein starts to pop out on your forearm, it's probably when you know it's good to start wrapping up your stirring. So there you go. There's our dough ball. Next, you grab a pan, hit it with a little bit of nonstick. Take a spoon and you make 4 big balls of dough on the pan. Now we've got 4 balls there. Next, we have to take a spatula, spray it with some nonstick, and press each of these down to make room for our toppings. So, there you go, there's one. So there we got everything's pressed down and flat. There are 4 scones. Next, we're going to start adding in our toppings, starting with
our cheese. So pull this into some smaller pieces and put some in the middle here. What we're going to try to do is put toppings in the middle and then wrap the dough around it. And that's the messy part. You can probably just skip if you want to keep your hands clean. You could just put the toppings on top and let them cook, but I'm trying to wrap them up so they look a little bit more like traditional kolaches that I'm used to. But if you want to keep your hands nice and clean, you can skip that step. Now, let's see. All right. And next, we want to add our Canadian bacon in. Very lean ham product from our friends in Canada. Now that that's all set up, we're going to take a little bit more nonstick, spray it in our hand, rub it around so that we can manhandle these scones. And what we want to do is dig in here and try to scoop and wrap up our puffs. See how it works. It's going to look silly and kind of messy, but you just kind of cover up all of the insides with dough and shove some of the stuff inside there. There you go, that's one. Just cover it up. And then scoop the next one. Kind of just shove it all in there while trying to keep your hands from sticking too much. And then you just kind of wrap it all around. This is actually kind of fun. If you're into that sort of thing, which apparently I am. So you wrap it around. We'll try to spruce these up with some utensils after we wash our hands as well. But that's the idea, is just get as much of the dough around the stuff. I mean, there's better ways to do this in real pastry land, but this is how we're doing it. Kind of the poverty way, which is, you know, good enough for our purposes. We'll let real chefs handle that business. This is just anabolic kitchens where there aren't any rules. Just kind of shove it all in there. Make these into some nice looking balls. Now the dough's starting to stick, so maybe you could have used a little nonstick, a little more nonstick. But we're gonna do our best. Make these into some balls. And then leave as much of it on there as possible, not on our hands. All right, that one's gonna be kind of bad. All right, going in for one more round of nonstick. Ready? Scoop up one last one. Try to put it all together. Cool, huh? Form it into a little ball, put it back down, and you'll see when these things rise and expand, it's gonna look pretty cool, I promise. And we just pull our hands back slowly, and now we've got a mess. We just try to scrape as much of it off as possible. And there we go. It's a mess, but we're ready to bake, all right? Okay, we are ready to put them in the oven. Oven has finally finished preheating. Here we are, 4 scones on a tray. So 22 minutes on my barely functioning oven, probably 16 to 20 minutes for your oven. But we'll see, keep an eye on them, you know. You can tell when they're ready. There we go, 4 lovely scones, packed with ham and cheese. Nice. We'll let these cool, move them onto a plate, and then I'll meet you guys at a table after I grab a shirt.
Okay, here we are at the end of the long bench down here in the basement. I got a shirt on, ready to try out some of these scones. Ready to hit them hard and then get some sleep because it's pretty late. Anyway, the macros for this recipe for all 4 of these scones is 776 calories, 11 grams of fat, 82 grams of carbs, 11 grams of fiber, 71 grams of protein. If you make the 4 scones and the total per scone is 194 calories, 3 grams of fat, 21 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fiber, and 18 grams of protein. So similar macros to like a Quest bar, but with lower fat and lower fiber. So not so bad, pretty good. I'm going to choose one of these and show you guys how it looks on the inside. So you pull them apart and they're very moist. Take a bite. So there's the inside, the cheesy goodness on the inside. Excellent consistency. Alex really nailed the recipe. I just gave him the idea. These things are great, soft, and they're flexible. You can take the base and then add different toppings to it. Try something else out. If you don't like ham and cheese, experiment. Put some bacon in some of these. Put turkey sausage. Even put eggs in there if you want to. This is a great addition to the arsenal. Easy to make, easy to clean up. Doesn't require the blender. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. Tag me on Instagram and I'll reshare whatever pictures you post of your scones or whatever scones you come up with. And yeah, I'm still gonna make the Ethan recipe. All this bagging on bread and the blender stuff, those recipes are still very, very awesome. So just one more time for old time's sake. Yeah, all right, one more time. I mean, the volume that you get is an additional, like, you know, half, additional 2 scones would be here if this was a puffs recipe. So I'm not done with puffs. I'm not done with making Ethan's recipes. They're awesome. You know, they've got the s'mores ones are fantastic. All of the blueberry ones are probably my favorite. So got tons of great recipes to choose from, tons of different customizations. You really can't lose with any of these recipes. And so yeah, give it a shot. I'm gonna finish these and go to bed, very full. I'll see you guys in the next video. In the meantime, keep it on the DL.